Mais avant de dire quelques mots, je veux vraiment prendre le temps de remercier. I really want to thank Elder Skanks. We're honored to have you with us today, and for your words of wisdom that you've shared with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, public service colleagues, je veux vraiment prendre le temps de vous remercier d'avoir pris du temps dans votre cédule très occupée pour vraiment venir partager avec nous aujourd'hui et célébrer l'importance de la culture autochtone dans le gouvernement fédéral. Quand on commence toute cette semaine de célébration, c'est vraiment une opportunité de partager avec tous les Canadiens et avec nos collègues dans la fonction publique l'importance de la culture autochtone, la contribution autochtone qui a été faite au Canada et qui se fait encore aujourd'hui, et de vraiment mieux à se connaître les uns et les autres et de partager nos expériences, nos succès, mais aussi les défis auxquels nous avons fait face. As a youth, from a personal perspective, as a youth, I was taught by my family to respect the land, and I spent a lot of time when I was young with my grandfather, who was a hunting and fishing guide, hunting, fishing, camping, and really learning what the importance of all things that are living and the importance of protecting them for future generations and the importance of showing respect to all living things. And these teachings I keep in mind, and they're really with me today as I share with you some of my perspectives in terms of how to improve Aboriginal representation within the federal government. The principles, as I learned them at that time from my grandfather, I did not at that point in time clearly understand that those are the fundamental principles that underlie Aboriginal culture. And since then, I've had the opportunities, especially since I joined Parscanda in 1997, to really better understand, better work with, better appreciate, and really look at ways of building relationships with Aboriginal peoples across Canada. C'est vraiment une opportunité de travailler encore une fois avec les communautés autochtones à travers le Canada au niveau du gouvernement fédéral, les différentes agences et ministères, chacun des individus dans cette salle-ci aujourd'hui, qu'on va faire une différence à long terme et de vraiment donner une opportunité aux communautés autochtones d'être pleinement engagés du point de vue économique, social et aussi dans la gouvernance de notre pays. One of the groups that I've been working with very closely is called the Aboriginal Consultative Committee of Parscanda. It's a group of 12 chiefs and elders from across the country who advise me as the CEO of Parscanda on initiatives, on our policy proposals, on approaches as to how to improve our relationship with Aboriginal peoples across Canada, how to ensure that the voices of Aboriginal peoples are heard in our national parks, national historic sites, and national marine conservation areas, and to ensure that they are fully engaged and active participant in a respectful way as we manage our national parks and national historic sites. At one of our meetings, I and other community members were invited to participate in a ceremony in Semaine village in British Columbia. And out of respect for the chief that had been the host, I'm not at liberty to discuss what transpired during that ceremony. But what I can tell you is that it had a very personal and profound effect on I and all of the participants that participated in that event, in that celebration. And again, it was an opportunity in this case for the Tsekan First Nation to share their culture with us in friendship. That experience reconfirmed for me that building a trusting relationship with Aboriginal peoples must go beyond simply meeting the legal obligations to consult. Institutional relationships are built on personal relationships, and all meaningful relationships are built on trust. And trust is built through personal commitment, you and I in this room, and all of us across the country, and through promises that are kept and fulfilled. All of the lands that are currently under the management and stewardship in Parscanda were in earlier times used and cared for by Aboriginal peoples. For thousands of years, Aboriginal stewardship, informed by traditional knowledge and century-old value system, helped to shape these very spectacular and precious landscapes. Today, more and more of these lands are being designated for protection, and Aboriginal people continue to play a critical role in that process. The interests of Aboriginal peoples, of the public, and of Parks Canada are best served when Aboriginal peoples are involved in all aspects of the management and administration of our sites. C'est vraiment une priorité à Parcs Canada de s'assurer que les communautés autochtones environnantes de nos parcs nationaux, surtout qu'on ait un comité consultatif établi dans chacun de nos parcs nationaux au cours des 5 prochaines années, pour vraiment assurer que les communautés autochtones aient l'opportunité de contribuer du point de vue économique, de bénéficier du point de vue économique, du point de vue de l'emploi, mais aussi de partager cette culture autochtone avec le plus de Canadiens possible. In our national parks and national marine conservation areas and national historic sites, we host close to 23 million person visits a year. We have a unique opportunity by working with Aboriginal communities to engage Canadians and provide them with an opportunity to learn Aboriginal culture. In February 2007, I was asked to accept the role of Aboriginal champion, the Deputy Minister champion for NCAF. And it's a real privilege and an honor that I've accepted and to work with all of the elected members of NCAF. And again, as we look at the opportunities before us, the numbers are pretty staggering in terms of the next 3 years, in terms of people that can actually take their retirement within the public service. 50% of executives, for example. So we have a unique opportunity, all of us working together to really make a difference and to really create a public service of Canada that is reflective of Canada, that is open, that is supportive, and that is welcoming to Aboriginal peoples of Canada. In the Aboriginal peoples of Canada, we have a huge population growth, more than any other communities in Canada. Now is a very unique time for all of us to really engage them, work with them, and really provide young Aboriginals an opportunity to contribute to the development of Canada, contribute to the people of Canada, and to be an active member of the public service of Canada. And this brings me to the Aboriginal Awareness Week. The week was introduced in 1992 to help the public service employees gain a better understanding and appreciation of the contribution made by Aboriginal peoples and Aboriginal cultures to the development of our country. Some 40 government departments and agencies in the National Capital Region are taking part in this year's celebration under the theme, Stand as One. I see Aboriginal Awareness Week as an opportunity, particularly for the public service managers, to think creatively, think openly as to how we engage Aboriginal peoples in the public service of Canada. I see the theme of this year's Aboriginal Awareness Week, Stand as One, is a challenge to public service organizations to reach out to First Nations, Inuit, and Métis, the fastest growing segment of the Canadian population. En terminant, je veux encore une fois vous remercier d'avoir pris le temps d'être avec nous aujourd'hui. Je veux vraiment s'assurer qu'ensemble, nous célébrons la culture autochtone au Canada. But more importantly, that we leave this room, that we leave this year's and this week's celebration with a personal commitment to actually make a difference, work with Aboriginal communities, and ensure that the public service is more represented. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Well, you must agree with me that I think